Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi,
My
Helena.
name is Helena Blažíková. I'm from UNICA clinic, and today we have discussion with the psychotherapist Katarina Batinic, MA. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Helena. Good to see you. Hi.
Yeah, perfect. So today our topic is coping with the emotional roller coaster of fertility treatment. And first of all, I will tell a couple of sentences about our clinic, what we are doing, and then we will set the questions that we've already got from our patients. So the UNICA clinic was founded in 1991 and has a long tradition and many years of experience. Modern UNICA clinics can be found in Prague and in Brno. We increase the chances of conception by holistic methods of treatment such as physiotherapy, acupuncture, and so on. And we have virtually no waiting time, and your treatment can therefore start immediately. We offer a wide range of assisted treatments using your own oocytes or donor eggs or sperms, fertility preservation, and genetic testing. Our clinic is the only one in the Czech Republic to come up with the unique concept of combining the latest technologies and a holistic approach to infertility treatment. We are concerned not only with the physical condition, but also with the psychological well-being of our patients. And thanks to this, we can significantly increase the chances of conceiving a baby. Because we see that the human body is a complete system, and we strive to balance our patients' physical health with their mental state and psychological well-being. And this is what is the foundation of successful treatment. So our team does not include only doctors, but also psychotherapists or nutritional counselor or acupuncturist and a yoga instructor. Together, all of them will help to create a customized treatment plan and increase the chances for your pregnancy. So we will now start with the questions. Hopefully, it will be helpful to our patients to go through the whole process. So what expectations should patients have as they enter the IVF process?
Well, I think it is important to see IVF as an additional path or additional way that increases the chances of getting pregnant, which itself is a great scientific achievement, of course. But it is also important to be aware that even then there is no guarantee, and that medicine also has its limits. So there is one predominant feeling that in my experience, all of the people I worked with during IVF procedures shared, and that is the feeling of impotence. You know, you put yourself in the hands of the experts who then do everything they can, and at the end of the day, they often can't explain why it didn't work. So that is something very challenging for our mind that always tries to make sense out of things. It's that feeling of being powerless and not understanding why, things not making sense, that can be very challenging.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And how can patients mentally and emotionally prepare for this journey?
Well, some people I worked with found it helpful to read about the topic thoroughly in advance, you know, to counteract the fear of the unknown. Others just want to get started and kind of straight away and just, you know, kind of be surprised. So it depends on one's personality structure, how you go about things in general. It is important to make sure that both partners are determined to embark on this journey. I would say IVF process is like building a house. You know, it's time and money draining. It is exhausting, and it can also take a very long time sometimes to reach the goal. So, if only one person is determined and the other one is indecisive or unsure, sorry.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It can be, you know, tough test for the relationship because it's just too much for one person to bear. And as for the emotional preparation, you know, I think it's important to create a space in your life for what is coming because, you know, it's like you call it a roller coaster. You know, you also kind of have to prepare your relationship for this roller coaster. Maybe even see a couples therapist before starting the IVF process. You know, to clear the space between and to make sure the relationship is a safe space for both.
That's true, definitely.
Yeah, and I also think, you know, for oneself, it is important to free yourself from stress. You know, I know it's easier said than done. We are all so busy and everything, but IVF is just not something you should be getting yourself into if you feel like you are on the edge of a burnout, or if you feel like your relationship is unstable, or not grounded in a moment. So I think it's important to be aware of that. It can also be a little things, you know, like saying goodbye to people, or distance yourself from people who don't make you feel well, feel good about yourself, or feel good about what you're doing. And you should also think about who you want to share it with, because it's obviously something very private and intimate. You should surround yourself with people who you can count on when you need a shoulder to lean on. So I think that's what it's all about, to free yourself from, and your relationship, of course, from burden, and prepare a supportive environment for both yourself and your partner, because the process can certainly take everything out of you.
Exactly. This is what we also telling to patients, that they should not be under stress, but it is easily said than done, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So I would skip 2 questions, and I would go to exactly what you were just telling. How can patients set healthy boundaries to protect their emotional well-being? And how should patients handle interactions with people who may not respect their boundaries or understand their experience?
Okay, just trying to memorize both questions.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So if they want to set the boundaries, so to keep emotional well-being.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, boundaries are like clear limits that separate us, our thoughts, our needs, our feelings, our beliefs from others. And they're just necessary in order to be able to develop healthy and authentic relationships in our lives, and to have a healthy relationship with yourself, of course. So the ability to set clear limits and keep them over time is just crucial for our well-being. You know, when boundaries are in place, we feel safe. We feel safe to express our authentic needs and feelings, and we are protected from whatever feels unpleasant or simply not desired. And so now, many of us grew up in an environment lacking boundaries, and where we were denied our basic feelings, needs, and perceptions. We were taught that in order to be accepted and loved, we must be nice and we have to please others. And as a result, we, for example, never learned how to say no, because we want to be nice. We therefore say yes to too many things, and even to things we don't want. And so if you see yourself in this practice, it is highly likely that you would benefit from some new boundaries in your life. Mm-hmm. So now the good news is, of course, that the awareness of this is the first step to be to having healthy boundaries, setting healthy boundaries. And the next step would be to say no when you feel like saying no, or when you don't feel like saying yes, which might be overwhelming at first, you know, and feel scary and everything. But I promise you, it would be worth it.
Definitely, so, I believe so.
And as to the other question about people.
How should patients handle interactions with the people who not respect the boundaries?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, like we said before, it's a roller coaster of emotions. So you need to surround yourself with people who make you feel good, and as you are going to need as much emotional support as you can get. So if people are being disrespectful or not having understanding for what you're going through, it's the last thing you need, you know, any other time in your life, but especially in this situation. I've got a client of mine on my mind just now, who I worked with during IVF procedure, and she had this terrible mother-in-law who would blame her and put pressure on her during the IVF process, and was really mean to her. And although the reason that they were doing IVF was due to her husband's sterilization due to cancer surgery, so it was definitely down to him, not down to her. Not that it should make any sense, but not that it should matter. So we worked together on my client's boundaries towards this person in order to protect herself, which wasn't easy because she was still trapped in this belief that I was talking about before, that she has to be nice and she has to, of course, she wanted to be liked by her mother-in-law. So that's just an example of how important it is to have healthy boundaries.
Definitely.
And I think that's what it's all about, to protect yourself from hurtful experiences, to keep your distance to physically and emotionally, to leave conversations if you don't feel comfortable with, if you don't share what you're going through with people who don't deserve it or don't respect, your situation, your privacy. The struggle is hard enough as it is. You just don't need to people please while going through this. Also a lot of my clients say, for example, that they find it tough finding about a colleague or a friend getting pregnant or seeing little babies, and they feel bad about it because they think like there's something wrong with them. And I often have the experience that, or I often witness how relieved they are to hear that it's normal, that it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just so understandable in this situation because, it's just feelings, it's not who you are. It's also here, it's important to be honest with yourself. It's okay to feel envy or resentment. It's okay, to not feel happy, to not be happy for the colleague, because you want to be. So,
Actually, this is also one question: how to cope with when friends get pregnant and the patient doesn't.
Oh, okay.
So this is exactly the question, actually.
Well, yeah, and I so often I witness, my clients talking about it, and it's just heartbreaking how they, it's their friend or their colleague or the person they really, get on well or are dear friends and not being able to feel the happiness for this person. As much as you would in a normal situation, because you are trapped in your own
exactly. Even though you wish to this friend or colleague the happiness.
Exactly. Yeah, and it is so important to be honest with yourself first of all, about these emotions, and to be, for them for you to be okay with it. You can suppress them or deny them, but which only makes it worse because they come back to haunt you and some other time, like feelings normally do. So whoever needs to hear this, it doesn't make you a bad person to have these feelings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How can patients navigate and process the disappointment if treatments don't go as planned?
Well, I think it's very important to realize that it probably won't work for the first time. Helena, you know this better than me. The chances of a single IVF attempt are like 20% if everything's like perfect. So the probability is simply greater that it won't work than that it will. So
they must be patient.
Yes. So
patients must be patient.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you see the disappointment as a part of the journey, so to speak, it can help ease off the pressure of wanting it to work straight away. If you just count with it not working because it's just simply statistics, then you kind of, your expectations are more realistic from the beginning. But of course, no matter how hard we try to be rational about it, hope naturally increases with every IVF attempt. That's just how we function. And disappointment and the sadness, if it doesn't work, is only natural and understandable, and it should be embraced. The path of grief is something very individual, and there is no right or wrong, just what feels good or whatever helps. So some people like to talk about it. Some people like to read or write in online forums. Others prefer to grieve alone or as a couple, or write in their diaries, or whatever helps. That also depends on one's personality structure. It's just so important to give yourself the space and time to do so.
Actually, you answered also the next question: what resources and support systems are available to patients during their journey? Definitely something you mentioned already. Is
Yeah,
anything else?
Yes, well, exactly. Good and supportive social environment is always a healthy resource in challenging times, and so it is also in during the IVF process. And of course, furthermore, it is possible and advisable to seek professional help individually or as a couple. That depends on the constellation or the difficulties. Yeah, but I would definitely recommend also seeking professional help if you feel like it's too much for you to bear.
And what about the partner of the patient? How can the partner best support his partner through this process as a couple?
Yeah. So
how to strengthen their relationship somehow? Yeah.
Well, if a couple is undergoing IVF treatment, I prefer to see both as patients. Because obviously it's the woman for obvious reasons who is being medically, physically treated, but it's the couple who is seeking for help, and it is depending on medicine to make it work. So therefore, I think, and also from my work experience, like I said, the process is kind of equally tough for both, for different reasons. The woman is obviously having to go through the process, including taking hormones, restricting her diets, etc. And the men often struggle with the feelings of being left aside, don't being able to do much, feeling powerless, not feeling man enough, and so on. So as different as it sounds, I do believe that both parties have their burdens to carry in the process. And in my opinion, it's important to think of it as supporting each other rather than the man supporting the woman.
Definitely. I also meet the cases when the woman is, for example, injecting the hormones, that the man, the husband, does it, the injections. Yeah. And the patient says, this is his task. Yeah. So this I appreciate that.
I think it's a nice way of
gives
including
to the partner some task, at least. Yeah. Okay. What self-care practices can our patients incorporate into their daily routine to reduce stress and maintain their well-being during fertility treatments?
Self-care.
Self-care practices.
Well, I think self-care is a process of taking care of one's own health on a physical and emotional or psychological level. So this includes, sleep, nutrition, taking care of your body, sports, social interactions, mental hygiene, etc. So, for example, sleep, it can have a huge effect on our well-being. So you have to make sure you sleep well. Cut down screen time before bed, read a book, don't drink alcohol and coffee before bedtime. A lot of it sounds very simple and logical, but it really helps to have a good quality sleep. It's also very important, to take care of your gut by eating healthy. It can have a tremendous effect on your physical and emotional well-being. Exercise, of course, yoga or just running or just simply walk around the block, whatever works best and whatever you feel, whatever makes you happy. Sports is the best antidepressant in the world. So like we said before, of course, say no when you don't feel like saying yes. It's also part of a self-care process. And, spend time outside. It helps us live in a moment and to ground ourselves. It also lowers the blood pressure. It can help reduce the symptoms of depression and burnout. What else? Have a scheduled me time, pet your dog, play with your dog or cat. Cook for yourself and your partner. Dance to your favorite music, write, paint, simply just whatever makes you happy.
Thank you. Coping techniques. What are these to manage stress and anxiety?
Coping techniques to manage stress. Well, I think it kind of comes back to self-care,
Yes.
Yeah, and first of all, just first try to reduce stress. Like I said, it's maybe easier said than done, but reducing stress is much better and much easier than fighting stress.
I always tell to the patients. Sorry. I always tell to the patients that they should do whatever they like to do, so they stay in a good mood.
Yes, exactly. If some people also say like, I don't know what I don't know what makes me happy, or I don't know what hobby I should choose or whatever. So sometimes I just say, think about, try to think back when you were a kid, what things did you like doing? What made you happy? What were just activities where you would just lose yourself and forget about time? And maybe ask your parents, what did I like as a kid? And then try to implement these things into your everyday life.
Perfect.
And coming back to the anxiety, of course, professional help is definitely also indicated and recommended if you're fighting or struggling with anxiety. It's not something you should just brush off.
Yeah. And how they can cope up with stress during and after the IVF procedure? What everything they can do against stress?
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to repeat myself.
Never mind.
Reducing stress, if somehow possible. Like I said before, maybe distancing yourself from people who are not don't make you feel good. Reducing maybe work stress if possible, but that also, of course, depends on the circumstances. And if it's not possible, try to be there for each other in a relationship, and try to have some scheduled me time and us time to just have some quality time and to ground yourself again.
Because we have here also two another questions that are to this topic connected. How to cope with negative results and how to deal with the fear of trying again after two failures. Yeah, because when they are not pregnant for the first time and then for the second time,
Up to
they
two
are already
or 2 cycles.
Yes.
Oh.
So they are afraid of the next trial.
Well, the first question about
how to cope with negative results, simply.
Yes, I think that's also what we said before. If you just lower your expectations from the beginning, if you read about it, about the statistics and how, if you talk to your doctors about what chances are actually of one single IVF attempt, then then it's kind of obvious, and it makes sense that it probably won't work for the first time. Maybe also for not for the second or the third. I've been working with clients who did 10, 15 single IVF attempts in like 2-3 cycles. So that's
mostly the patients are coming to us and they are expecting that if it's not possible to get pregnant naturally, when they come to the clinic for IVF, it's sure they will get pregnant immediately. So even though we tell them, still they believe it won't be my case, it will be successful immediately. And what it is not, they are somehow then depressed and stressed that it really needs some time. They have to be patient. So then they have fear how it will continue.
Yes, I also have the same experience with with my clients, that a lot of them think like, okay, we try naturally for years, and if it doesn't work, then we do IVF, and then it definitely works for the first time.
Yes.
So that's also something that's like publicly very. I have a feeling there's very little information about how realistic IVF procedures are, and what it looks like in reality. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what can be done about that to simply inform the women about the reality of IVF procedures. And I have the experience that a lot of my clients decide on doing IVF way too late.
Exactly.
At a certain age where it also gets is not so easy anymore, because there is this mindset of, okay, when we go to the clinic, then it works straight away.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And of course, the disappointment is huge.
How to manage side effects of IVF treatment, like disabled sleep or lack of energy, burnout, prolonged grieving, depression, and so on?
Well, depression and anxiety and burnout, I mean, that's all like, kind of something you should definitely seek professional help about. I don't see depression as a side effect of IVF. There must be a certain personality structure that enables the depression to develop. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think there must be something in the person. There must be some risk of depression before the IVF, because it's just not something that's considered to be a side effect. So I think there definitely professional help would be indicated and advisable there.
Thank you.
Troubled sleep. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I haven't had many clients who had problems sleeping while during IVF. I don't get how that is related.
Maybe that it's in general nervousness, how it will go on.
And the stress, of course.
And stress, yeah, something connected with that, I would say, yeah. So then we have here one more question yet. Coping mechanisms for the fertility journey which makes you feel out of control.
Well, I think that was your first or second question about today, about how, what to expect or from the IVF or something, where I was talking about this feeling of impotence, the feeling of not being able to do anything. You put yourself in the hands of experts, and they do everything they can, and they say, okay, well, it's from our side, we did everything, and it looks like there is nothing wrong and everything, and then it still doesn't work. That's just something very challenging in general during the IVF process. Maybe the most challenging thing that you just have to accept that it didn't work, and you don't know why, and the doctors don't know why, and you just have to keep trying.
Exactly. This is what our doctor is saying. Keep trying, and we will find the golden embryo, the right one.
Golden embryo.
Okay, so these are all questions we've got today. So maybe, I don't know, if you want to add some conclusion to patients, some general recommendation as a final sentence to our meeting today.
Well, I can only repeat myself, but I think it's just crucially important to prepare yourself and the relationship for this journey, because it can be very draining, and you just have to make sure that you are in the right place and that the relationship is in the right place, and then just don't give up. Yeah, I think that would be my advice.
Yes, exactly. I can't nothing else but agree with you. Okay, so thank you very much. It was nice to talk to you today. Yeah, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.